Live from Secular America, it's Pandemonium. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all doing today? It's Wolf King, and this is my hangout. All right, today we got Jokir, we got Christopher, we got Mutt 2050, and TomTom 34B. How y'all doing?
Superb.
Fantastic.
I'm doing
Cool.
fine, even
Okay.
though I was really let down by the Catholic Church today.
What they do?
Yeah, well, you see, my mother is really, really, really religious. Well, I am not, and for some odd reason, it was told to me today. Well, basically, I'm staying in the house where everybody is coming for vacation in summer, and I'm staying here in winter. All alone, but I don't mind. That's something that I like actually. And suddenly I was called. Well, there will come a Christian priest today to bless the house. You know, and I was like, oh, okay. Why didn't you tell me yesterday so I could have more preparation time? So we don't care. Just be ready when he comes. And yeah. Um, okay. What you don't, what you maybe don't know, in Croatia, it's like when you make an appointment for 10 o'clock a.m., it's still okay if you come at 4 o'clock afternoon. So they're basically saying, well, he will come today. Just be prepared. We can't really know when he will come. He didn't come at all. So
Yeah.
that's how the Catholic Church, the priest didn't come at all. Maybe he'll come tomorrow. I'm not certain. That's how things work here. But yeah, the Catholic Church let me down, and I'm an ex-Catholic, so yeah.
Yeah.
What can I say more about that?
Yeah. Okay. So what you guys were talking about, like that movie Heat? Dro. So I mean, did you like it? Was it a good movie?
Oh, it's definitely one of my favorite movies, and I have a list of great movies that it competes with Star Wars, Ocean's 11. And overall, just a fantastic heist movie.
That's cool. 'Cause I actually got a great deal of respect for Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They're you know they like they have a feeling of they have a genuine spark to them. You know, a genuine, like when they get into their character and their role, you could genuinely believe it. You know, like I especially loved him in Pacino in 88 Minutes. You know, when he was trying to figure out who was conspiring against him, like as a forensic psychologist or whatever. What do you guys think of that movie?
That movie was awesome.
I agree.
Watched it when I was like either 10 or 12. Good movie.
Chris brought up Die Hard, and that's actually one of my favorite franchises. Like, as far as the first three movies go, just fucking spectacular.
Did they do a remake on that?
They made a sequel back in I think 2012, and it wasn't really good.
No, that was cool.
Yeah, they had the guy from Spartacus as Bruce Willis' son, and it went as well as you would imagine.
Well,
Nice.
I would just mention, well, I don't want to spoil too much of the movie, but Heat is like really a movie that if you like Al Pacino and you like Robert De Niro, I can't really believe that you didn't see this movie yet. It's like, yeah, under what rock were you living? And that's like 20 years old movie basically. So I don't know. It has a great soundtrack. It has a great story. Obviously, two or even more. There are other actors who are really good in this movie. It's like a must-see movie. So you gotta you know right when you end this hangout, you have to go to
I already put it on my to-do
check
list,
out.
Tom. I mean, you don't have to tell me twice. I know. I mean, like, I mean, I'm a genuine movie buff. I see a lot, but I mean, I'm not omnipotent. I can't know every freaking movie, but yeah, I'll be sure to see it. But speaking of remakes, you guys heard that new what was that thing with Point Break? That Point Break remake. Too
I
soon or
didn't
like what?
I didn't hear about a Point Break remake. Wow. Hollywood does not have an original idea at all.
Okay,
Yeah,
now
yeah, like nowadays, like seriously, out of the woodworks comes like all these friggin' remakes of classical movies like friggin' Independence Day and what else? I think Batman 2. Then there's Superman, which came out like The Man of Steel came out like 2 years ago, I think, in 2013, or maybe 2014. Depends.
I gotta say, I'm really disappointed in most of the remakes of well old movies. I can give you two examples. One is Rollerball. It's like I think it's a 70s movie, and the message of Rollerball and the message of its remake is like completely different. Basically, if you are aware of the remake, you should watch the original. If you have watched the original, just forget, don't ever watch the remake. That's one of them. And the second example that I would like to bring up, and the funny thing is in both movies, one of the main actors is James Caan. He's a great actor of the 70s, and well, he is apparent obviously in 80s movies as well, but then he's no longer active, or not very much, maybe some series, whatever. The second movie is, well, I said Rollerball. What was the second movie? The Killer Elite. There is a remake with the Killer Elite with Jason Statham, and while I wouldn't say that the remake is really bad, it doesn't have it's not telling the same story, so it's telling a completely different story, and basically, except that they share the same title of the movie, the movies are completely different. So if if you want to watch two good original movies that have two rather bad remakes, then go watch The Killer Elite. It's James Caan and Robert Duvall. It's a 70 movies with a great showdown in San Francisco Bay, where they have all the old ships of the U.S. Navy, like tied together in a kind of ship graveyard, and it's like gunmen and mafia and secret service meeting ninjas. It's like a totally strange collection. It's an awesome movie, and it's awesome. And directed.
By the way, Joe,
Yes.
I am here to collect your left nut.
Whoa.
You have a lot of noise.
Yeah, lot
I'm
of
driving my
feedback.
semi.
The Killer Elite
Okay.
was directed by Sam Peckinpah, if you know the director.
I mean, there are some good remakes out there, though. If
Yeah,
we're
But
being
yeah,
honest.
there are also very bad remakes. So I just want to point out.
you were talking about Rollerball, and it made me think of that remake. But one I did like that was actually an improvement to me personally was Death Race, the old 70s with Carradine versus the newer Death Race. I think the newer one was better because they explained it a little bit better in it, but it didn't hold the same social society meaning that the first one was trying to portray.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. I guess I'm not really so much aware of a good remakes of a bad original because I'm not aware of the bad original because it's a bad movie. But I'm I'm more aware of good originals who then after 20, 30, maybe even 40 years later, they got a bad remake just to cash on the original title and make some money in Hollywood, well, on the movie theaters. I don't know what the reason was, but in my opinion, you should have left the original and just made your own movie, and not lend lend any kind of strength from the original title.
Right. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna transition from topics. But before I do, I just gotta say with regard to a new, well, not a new release, but soon to be released, like I think in 2016. They have a new X-Men movie coming out where they're gonna talk about like the first mutant. Apparently, it's sort of like a it's sort of like it's always existed for like centuries, like apparently in like ancient civilizations it helped build the pyramids and stuff like this, and it was called Yahweh in the Bible and all this, with four individuals it would endow with power. I sort of like how they're trying to like mix mythology in it, because today's heroes are tomorrow's like mythology or something like that. But I do like that theme. What you guys think?
That's actually funny because you're thinking of Apocalypse, the title of the new X-Men movie, and it's actually the name of the mutant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the first mutant.
Yeah, that.
And like you said, he was.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, that's Marvel's explanation for a lot of the biblical stories, at least in their universe.
Nice. that would be funny if that was. I mean,
And yet, it still makes more sense than the current Bible.
pretty much, yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, with that being said, I got this link. The embarrassing truth about SpaceX. It's something about a satellite or something. Okay, I'm just gonna put this in the side chat right there. Okay, no, what does this say? Okay, commercial spaceflight got an early Christmas present on Monday evening. Elon Musk, SpaceX successfully delivered an 11 satellite payload into space, and with a 2-stage rocket. Redline would love this shit. That in itself wasn't all remarkable. What was remarkable is that when the first stage detached, it didn't simply plunge back to Earth. Its usefulness at an end. Instead, it refired its engines, turned around, flew back to Florida, and vertically landed itself on a platform a few kilometers where it took off. It was the third attempt after 2 previous failures. One SpaceX staffer summed up the event with colorful brevity. Holy shit, we did it. It's technically not the first successful flight of a reusable rocket. Back in November, Blue Origin, a private space company founded by Jeff Bezos, announced it had launched and landed one as well. But the SpaceX rocket is built to go faster and deeper into space, and at a $60 million a piece, SpaceX satellite launches are already the cheapest in the burgeoning private space flight industry. Huh. So yeah, but that is pretty cool how it was able to land safely. What do you guys think?
Well, Wolfgang, why are you hitting us with this propaganda from NASA? We all know that the Earth is flat, right?
Yeah, it's just like, no, it's a concave. Like it's like an inverted. It's like a ball. Like it's just like flat. Like we're just like in a ball right now.
I was gonna say it'd be a whole lot easier just to go to space launching sideways on a flat Earth, wouldn't it?
No, just throw it over the side. You don't even have to launch it.
Exactly.
If it's flat, just go to the edge, throw it off the side.
I mean, I think that's hella cool to have a reusable rocket. But like in this article, I'm taking a skim at it, and it's highly impractical and highly it's not profitable, but it's definitely something we need to invest into.
Yeah, it is. I'm just amazed that there are people like on this planet that think that that the world is flat, despite just despite the fact that Greek philosophers figured this out like millennia ago, and also like that make like the current science about space just like irrelevant.
Yeah, but Wolf, they may be people who just don't go out of the house very much. So
Yes, they're just random schmucks who stay and live in their parents' basement, namely their mother's basement, eating Cheetos and pretzels and drinking Mountain Dew and saying, "Oh, I'm enlightened, my third eye is awakened," and shit like that. Oh, and Satan is God, or Satan is in everything.
Rob Beasley, is that you?
Hey, Blue, what's up?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Wolf, how you doing? Oh, by the way, I know it's a controversial position, but I'm here.
sorry for interrupting. I just couldn't stop me laughing.
G-Man didn't steal nothing.
Well, hold on. Just we're on this topic right now. Just could you mute for a second?
Very good.
Good. Okay, cool.
Am I echoing all bad again?
It's not so much the echoing, so much as the feedback. Okay, thanks. Yeah, but I think that's interesting. Just working and maintaining satellites in space. Many industries, as the article goes to say, like many industries and private companies, particularly telecoms, have an interest in maintaining satellites in space. And along with traditional and governmental launch providers, we now have a new generation of companies that can do that, like Origin, Orbital Sciences, Corp, SpaceX, and all that. But the ridiculous thing. One particular thing in general, like just for an example, like Arcane Logos, who actually served in the military, like went across different countries. I only travel like across this one alone. I actually do plan on traveling later, but he actually went across the globe and still thinks it's flat, merely because it states in the Bible. And it's like, dude, if that's your method for spreading your faith, I mean, like, you're just making it look retarded.
Funny story. Arcane actually blocked me the other day. Can you believe that?
He's doing more of that now.
It's ridiculous. Like he posted a video of this professor from FIU saying you shouldn't be able to leave a college with the idea of creationism.
Yeah, like he's insufferable lately. Like his tactics have completely changed. He still says the same shit, but he tries and stays calm, and while he's staying calm, he is just being passive aggressive all the while. And when people disagree with him or call him on his bullshit, he will mute them or block them in the hangout.
Yeah, he blocked me as well, and not because some interaction in any hangout, just because I dared to answer to one of his many G+ messages like, "Here, look at this conspiracy theory, whatever." And I was asking him, "Can you explain to me why on a flat Earth model things are falling down in a right angle to the bottom, not dependent on wherever you are on the flat Earth?" And he couldn't answer me, and I was just saying, well, it appears to me that you are running away from the question. And then it seems to me he has blocked me just because of this little comment.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I actually had to check the numbers for how many people actually buy this. In between secular America and Canada. Like I think it was like around 750 to 800. But I think 750, so it's less than of Italian, like which is 1,000, and a good number of them, are at least a quarter of them or so, are trolling just for laughs. So it's really funny that there are actually people that do in fact buy that. It's kind of sad, but yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Very
Moving
sad.
on next.
Very sad.
Yeah. Okay.
You mean they buy the whole flat Earth stuff?
Yeah, I mean, actually, funny story about that before I move on. See, they actually came out with this Flat Earth Society. It was started by people who didn't buy it, right? It was actually like a philosophy club where they would call it the Flat Earth Society. So if there was anyone who actually did believe it, they wouldn't be accepted. They'd be rejected out. But over time, with little increments, the actual flat earthers began to take it over, and that's how that happened. But it's to a less degree with people just trolling. But
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
History.
So did you see that recent hangout? I don't know. I actually didn't watch it in its whole length, but there was like Kent Hovind giving a comment about the whole flat earth stuff. And I mean, he was in jail for several years, so when he comes out of jail, suddenly a lot of Christians are believing in the flat earth stuff.
I really wouldn't put it past them.
His comment was like, "Oh, it's all atheists trying to with this flat Earth idea, trying to make look Christians bad, trying to make them look dumb." it's like he's painting it like it's an atheist idea and suggesting to theists, yeah, you should really believe into a flat Earth and actually do it, or at least, yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah. Ken Hovind, Dr. Dino, yeah, he has the answer. Yeah, it's obvious atheists are spreading the flat Earth thing. That's why you should listen to him, especially when he offers you fruit seed pills that could cure cancer. Oh wait, they got cyanide when you digest them and that could kill you.
Yeah, but
No.
the interesting thing is that Arcane was in this hangout. I will have to watch the whole hangout. I was just being pointed to, well, here's Kent Hovind, and there is a comment about him, from him about the whole flat Earth thing, and Arcane Logos is inside this hangout, and he's totally silent, like, maybe shouldn't say anything about this right now. It's really funny.
Yep, it's hilarious. Okay, hey Heretic, just pay attention to this message I'm gonna put in the side chat. Can you see it? Heretic. Okay, cool. All right, now moving on to the next topic. Okay, policewoman killed victim, left body on couch for days. Okay, hang on.
If I may, I watched Heretic just recently in MK's Hangout, and you were really presenting a really good argument against Matt Bell's position, even with backed by scripture. And then Darwin's came in, and all the stuff, the whole discussion got sidetracked. So really kudos to you for waiting for a chance and confronting Matt Bell, and even back with scripture.
Cheers, Tom. I'm not sure that anybody else or I even agree with that point of view, but well appreciated. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, I agree too, but then again, Matt Bell's an ass. Anyway, okay, so woman killed victim, left body on couch for days. Let me just begin with this. Okay, it's in the side chat. A Valley woman says the body of a victim found by police on her couch was a shrine from God. This was in Phoenix, Arizona. You know, the state where pillbox is. The Phoenix Police Department tells Fox 10 that a 39-year-old Anitra Braxton has been charged with murder after police found the body of a woman on her couch inside her apartment on December 26. Police responded to the apartment at 1515 W Missouri Avenue after receiving reports of a dead African-American woman in a towel lying on the sofa. When officers arrived at the apartment, Braxton told police that no one was inside her apartment and she lived alone. Okay. However, they noticed that body laying on the sofa. In a nutshell, while being questioned, Braxton. Okay, yeah, hold on. The victim had sustained a gunshot wound to the head. While being questioned, Braxton told police that the victim on the couch was a shrine from God and was actually her own body. She later told police that the victim had been shot in the eye for not believing in God. Police also learned from Braxton that the body had been inside her apartment for 2 to 3 days based on evidence. Police believe the apartment had been cleaned up in the days since. Braxton has been charged with first-degree murder, and police have thus far been unable to identify the victim. But yeah, that's the story. Okay.
Don't you just love religion, folks?
Yeah. I mean, she probably had some type of like mental disorder to where, you know, she thought this was a good thing or accurate, but yeah, she was deeply disturbed, and I'm kind of glad she's off the street now. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think my biggest fear is that this woman didn't kill this person, and that she just found the body and took it home. That's far more disturbing to me than her killing somebody and then probably mentally snapping.
Well, the disturbing part of it, of course, is that the other woman got shot because she was an atheist. But since you can't believe anything this crazy woman says, I don't know.
I mean, I just like okay, so like her victim. So her victim is also her. Okay, hang on. Hey Fiona. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, you see that right in the side chat? Okay, yeah. Okay, so I mean, what really disturbs me? Okay, so she thinks that the body is also hers, so she keeps it as a shrine. Blue, can you move for a second? So she thinks the body is like a shrine from God for her. With I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a mind fuck, to be honest with you, to comprehend this. And instead of like burying the body, she decides to keep it on her couch. Like, I mean, what is she hanging out with with the corpse, or like what? I mean, let's just disturb it as well.
I would say, if you don't mind me just jumping in here, that yes, she's done it in the name of religion and all the rest of it. But I think the bottom line is that she's just a nutter.
True.
And I'm sure. I think that we can all admit that anybody as nutty as that is going to do it in the name of whatever reason suits them. They'll do it in the name of the almighty Martian cabbage goddess. They'll find any excuse. And I think the one thing that people like that have in common is they are nutters. Straight out, they're off their heads. They are not playing with a full deck. They're a sandwich short of a picnic.
At what point are we able to determine, as was it Fiona put it, just nutters, sandwich short of a picnic, versus terrorist, versus religious inspired? Is there a possibility of doing that, or are we just using labels that we shouldn't really use, and introducing a stigma?
I would say that it would depend on like the environment. I suppose like they were brought up in. I suppose that leads them to have this sort of mindset that's way off base. I will agree with Fiona that it could potentially come from anywhere, whether or not it's religious or not. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard though to get into the particular mindset of a person that would shoot someone and then leave the corpse on their couch for days as like a shrine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of hard to get, even when you're trying to like analyze it, like forensic speaking or like psychologically.
Well, and this isn't like the first time something like this happened either. I mean, there's worse and even crazier things been done for, like Fiona said, they're going to latch on to whatever justifies their action, and that's general psychosis. The mind creates stuff, and they draw in whatever fits with whatever their mind is creating, that justifies the world that they see.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, he kept bits of people in his fridge. And before he was killed in prison, he found God and all the rest of it. And he blamed his crimes on atheism and evolution. He said that's why he did it. But I think you'd all agree that you can't really blame atheism for eating people. And you can't really blame evolution for eating people. You can't blame him being taught evolution on him eating people. A nutter is a nutter is a nutter. I think the difference comes when you start to look at some of the Daesh terrorists, where they're not such out-and-out nutters, as in non-functionally off their heads, but they are absolute fanatics. I think there's a distinction there when they have a political goal.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question real quick. Just for my information and to further the discussion, does anyone here believe that Christ is going to return?
Hold on, somebody's getting music.
Yeah, what is that? Reanimate these guys. Did you mute? Okay.
That's all right. Oh, I was just wondering, and this is a casual question just for my information and to further the discussion. Does anyone here believe that Jesus Christ will return at any time in the future?
I do.
I don't.
Well, so...
Pass.
Okay. We're talking about things unrelated to G-Man.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
thought this was about G-Man. What's going on here?
I just got here.
It's fine. Okay. So, what was your point about like asking that question about like is anyone here like accepting like Jesus will return in the future? What was that?
Well, you were talking about nutters like Jeffrey Dahmer and
Hi, Fiona.
And this woman with a corpse on her couch and stuff, and it being possibly religious related.
Mm-hmm.
And from my casual research, it seems that religion and government seem to be the two main culprits in creating people like Jeffrey Dahmer and this lady that had the corpse on her couch. Thank you.
I don't know if you can say that religion is responsible for creating them. Jeffrey Dahmer was an atheist until after he'd been imprisoned. So I don't see how religion caused him to do what he did.
Well, atheism is just another religion.
Well, then in that case, it means that every single position that anybody could take is going to be called a religion. Therefore, every single crime ever committed was committed by someone of religion. At that stage, when you're defining it that widely, it's an absolutely useless term.
Well, maybe so. I don't quite understand your statement, but it seems that they got us all fighting from one position or another, from religious, Baptist or Catholic or what have you.
I don't think that's got anything to do with governments, though. That's us. That's us talking. We enjoy it. I mean, it's, well, one thing that I would like to delve into a little bit is the argument of evolution causing it, because we know that evolution is about mutations and this, that, and the other, and I can see that possibly there's a mutation in somebody's brain that makes them psychotically inclined.
Well, I don't think that was the argument that was made at the time. The argument was being taught about evolution.
Oh, right.
That was the argument. Not evolution causing mutation. The argument was being taught this atheistic, demonic pseudoscience is turning people. Yeah, that was the argument that Dahmer made. Now, given that you take the testimony of someone who stored bits of people in his fridge and ate them, I don't know how much stock you would put in his words.
Can I interject real quick, Fiona? That's never been confirmed that he did that. In my opinion, I am of the school of thought that Jeffrey Dahmer actually, he didn't do that. Those bits of people were actually materialized in his fridge by God. He didn't actually put it there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I love you, Rabbit.
Come on.
Nice one, Tom. Nice one.
And we have to remember it's the theory of evolution also.
Yeah, I just think
start me on that.
Good point.
He might have claimed that this is the case. That doesn't mean that that was really his motivation to do that.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm really ignorant and unfamiliar with the case, but I'm kind of, yeah. I have a suspicion that it's not the case if just someone is committing murders and then claiming, well, it's atheism that pushed me to that, and the theory of evolution, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I will
exactly.
doubt that.
Look, all you know.
It's a case of any port in a storm, any excuse.
Especially if it's taught to you. Especially if it's taught to you by somebody who is fundamentally religious.
Well, there's nothing wrong with
it in any way.
Well, hold on. There's nothing wrong with eating people in and of itself. Okay, nothing wrong with that at all.
Come on, Wolf.
Ooh. You mean those guys that were stuck up in the
it's a joke.
Plane crash and they finally had.
The Andes Mountains.
That's a good point, though. Like, what is wrong with cannibalism in of itself if you don't actually eat anyone? Like, I'm a cannibal, but I don't actually act on it. There's nothing wrong with that in of itself.
I'm a vegetarian cannibal.
Everybody knows that we atheists are eating babies.
I'm a very picky cannibal.
We are all cannibals.
Well, of course we get our baby fetus meat from Planned Parenthood. Like, we get it off the black market through ISIS as well, too. Like, we get...
yeah, especially ISIS.
Yeah.
Well, what about those people that were trapped after that plane crash and finally decided to have a little bit of this one or that one?
Well, they were just trying to survive.
Yeah, exactly right. And I don't know what I would do in this situation until I would, was in that situation. Because I'm not a cannibal, okay?
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Fiona.
I wouldn't participate in killing someone to eat them in that situation, but I believe that that the people were already dead that they ate. They had died either in the crash or soon after it.
Yeah.
Well,
Then there's a big difference there.
There's a big difference. Yeah, I'm just saying that you're still eating people, and you know, until the question's put to you, you really don't know what you.
well, I would just probably try to make a parachute out of all their clothing and just fly away instead of eating the dead people.
You know what? I probably eat my own foot. But that being said, we're just gonna move on from there. Okay. Next subject. Brian Fisher says dinosaurs were just 1,000-year-old lizards.
What the?
Right there in the side chat, and I'm gonna read this out. I was radio program today. Not today. Like a few days ago. Brian Fisher laid out his theory about where dinosaurs came from, explaining they were simply lizards that grew very large because they lived for 1,000 years. As Fisher explained. As Fisher explained, prior to Noah's flood, the average human lifespan was 912 years. So logically, the lifespan of animals and reptiles and the like were so much longer about this period, during this period. And since reptiles continued to grow until they die, Fisher said it stands to reason that a lizard that lived for 1,000 years would eventually grow to the size of a dinosaur. Asserting that there is no reason to doubt the Bible when it says that Methuselah lived for 969 years. Fisher declared that if some salamanders today can live for hundreds of years and can grow several feet in length, then obviously lizards before the flood could live for 1,000 years and grow even larger. Quote, I'm thinking that could be the explanation for dinosaurs, he said. They were just like reptiles that grew for 1,000 years, kept growing. All right. End quote.
You know what?
What is he based it on?
Yeah.
His asshole.
Yeah. Other than wishful thinking.
It sounds like part of a larger theory of maybe that's what caused the extinction, right? They just kept growing and growing until they weren't able to sustain themselves, due to being too large, right? Eventually there's just not enough plants to sustain them because they've grown so big.
Oh.
Brilliant.
Brilliant idea. Absolutely fantastic idea. Yeah.
I was going to say Brian Fisher's an idiot, but somebody already said that.
Fiona, it's a brilliant idea as long as you accept that every single bit of his statement is not assumption. Yeah, because everything there was just assumption.
Fiona, you're a biologist. What do you think of this?
Well, what's he base it? What does he have to base it on other than wishful thinking? Nothing.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's it. He's trying to find an explanation for dinosaurs that doesn't involve an old Earth, and that somehow ties in Noah's Ark. And I'm supposing that means you could take little dinosaurs on the Ark. Oh. I mean, it really is. It's a case of hunting out or making up.
You drank all your stuff. Where's the bottle?
You want a drink?
Not a drink.
Tony, could you mute, please?
A little topper, just a topper. Oh, excuse me.
Just a tip. You know, I have a question. Now that I think about it, what is the best explanation for reconciling dinosaurs in a young Earth model? Right? Is it that's a hard question to kind of figure out, right? So maybe the devil planted the fossils as tests or lies or something? I mean, I don't even know what I would say.
That's one of the theories. I use the term theory very loosely there. That's one thing they've come up with. The devil put the bones there to test us.
Yeah.
I can't even think of any other ones, really, you know?
Or that the dinosaurs missed the Ark.
It seems like a very weak position.
I have a question for Brian Fisher.
Yeah, a lot of creationists say that we hunted the dinosaurs to extinction, so that explains it. But you know what? What's your question, random atheist guy?
My question for Brian Fisher would be: were you there? Yeah. that would be it.
No, but you know what? Yeah, but you know what pisses me off? Like I actually have this Afghani friend who is a Muslim. He doesn't actually Islam says that the world is old, but they don't accept it. And this is based on like the testimony of a few of them. They actually don't accept like dinosaurs existed. And if they did, like they usually associate them with demons or some shit. And that sort of bugs the crap out of me. Like, really?
But let's be honest, if there's demons running around looking like T-Rexes, that'd be badass.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I had a discussion with a Christian one time, and he says there's a passage in the Old Testament, I can't remember where now, I think in Job, that he claimed mentioned
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Behemoth.
And then you got Bill Hicks. That I don't know. Did anybody hear Bill Hicks' take on dinosaurs and Christians?
No.
I won't go into it. You have to check it out for yourself. Bill Hicks is a comedian. I guess you all know him. It was pretty funny.
The thing that really is irritating to me is the fact that it's always this: how Christians explain dinosaurs, how Christians try and explain the age of the Earth. It's not Christians. It's young Earth creationists. That's a difference. That's a subset.
Sure.
But everybody uses the term Christian as a sort of catch-all phrase. But it's not even just young Earth creationists. It's the radical young Earth creationists, the real extremists. You know, there are many who will say, you know, I go with a young Earth, and I know that, you know, the various bits of evidence point to an old Earth. My belief is that God created the Earth with the appearance of age, but that it was created only 6,000 years ago, looking older. And they'll say, but they have, you know, they don't have any evidence. That's fine. That's if they want to go that way, that's fine. But when you say it was created 6,000 years ago, and you then start dissing all the evidence for the old age of the Earth, without coming out with your argument, oh, well, it was created to look old, which would obviously account for all the evidence, and you're just going to bin all the science, then you're reaching the radical stage. You're reaching the extremist stage. And it's a big difference from just saying Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that is that, you know, context and that you know, is important, but there's nothing wrong with ignoring it in and of itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. People can ignore the evidence if they want, but they don't have the right to force that ignoring of the evidence down the throats of other people's children in a classroom.
You mean the evidence of a young Earth?
Yeah.
So
as in non-existent. They don't have the right to force their dissing of all of the evidence down other people's children's throats.
Oh, exactly. I could not. I raised my daughter, man, and my dad one day said something about teaching religion in school, and he was an ex-Marine, and I didn't stand up to him too much, but I stood up to him on that one. I said, I don't want anybody in public school teaching my child about religion.
Yeah. If it's done in a religion class, like comparative religions, that's fine. But you don't put it in a science class.
Well, maybe so. You know, that's put in a different context. You know, if they're teaching all about religions, that's one thing. But you know, I could call myself a Christian in one way, but I think you answered that you thought Jesus was coming back sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But if I went to church, and you know, people stand up and give their testimony, they testify. I mean, I had to go to church a lot when I was younger. My grandfather, who raised me, was an evangelist. So I went to lots of church. But anyway, if I went to church today and as a Christian and tried to testify about what I believe God is or about God and about Jesus, the terminology would get me kicked out. Although when they say God, I say consciousness.
Mhm.
And you see what I mean? And
Yeah.
eventually they'd ask me not to come back because of other terminology.
Yeah. I think everybody finds their own path.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, there's not so much finds their own path. I think everybody finds their own way to wander along that path.
Wander along that path?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some people walk along it, some people skip along it, some people run, some ride a bicycle, and some do cartwheels.
And sometimes you lose your way. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but I think everybody's on the path.
Yeah.
They're just going along it in a different way. Everybody's on that path to knowledge, to self-knowledge, to understanding.
Well, then question, what about these people that, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there seems to be a group of people who are trying to take over the world and do certain things to benefit them and under the pretext of benefiting the public. And, you know, the rest of us are struggling so much, and they said in a...
Yeah, they're called bankers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, not
But
to
it's,
go on.
but it's spelled with a W instead of a B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to. Hold on. Not to go off on a different tangent, but I think Random Atheist guy wanted to comment on the religion in school thing. You're there, dude.
Yeah, I'm here, dude. Sorry, I got my dogs here. They're making a lot of noise, so I'm trying to make it, not so much noise for you guys. But my oldest two are in Catholic school. My wife's Catholic, and I'm not. But the good part about them being in Catholic school, they're being exposed to their religion in some class. But Catholics also accept evolution, as Fiona could possibly point out better than me. So I'm like, yay, awesome. We'll deal with this later.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to deal with anyone in public school.
They accept it as a theory?
Yeah, they accept evolution happens.
Yeah,
Well, evolution as a theory, the same way gravity is a theory. Tom, what you gotta say?
I just want to say most Catholics do accept evolution.
Yeah. Not only that, but the Roman Catholic Church has come out and said that they don't even have an objection to abiogenesis. Chemical abiogenesis.
Yeah, and see, me as an ex-Catholic, I'm kind of like face palming when I hear about certain Protestant groups, especially in America, who deny evolution or say the Earth is like 6,000 years old, or dinosaurs were living together with man. All that kind of funny stuff.
Yeah.
I just sorry, Fiona, go on.
It's very, and over in the UK it is, and I think most of Europe, that's actually a very, very, very rare point of view. Yet in America it's very, very common. And it's when you first come across it, it really is one of those moments where your jaw hits the floor.
Yeah, not only that, you think they're joking with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you think, okay, they're pulling your leg with some kind of strange story, but then you realize, no, they're really actually serious about it. So what do you do?
Yeah, the interesting thing about the UK education system is, I mean, we can all complain about it here, about this, that, or the other, but it is based on standards that are set by the government. Throughout all of it. My concern at the moment is that we've started moving away from a public state system where we now have a lot of what's called academies, and these can be run privately. They're independent organizations rather than
You're
Hello?
cutting out. I can't hear you anymore.
Heretic?
Am I still out?
No, you're back
Okay,
now.
we can
Now
hear
we
you
can
now.
hear you.
Is
We
that
can hear you.
better?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm,
yes.
I'm using a new laptop and I have no idea where the microphone bit is. So, but we've got these academies that have been set up, and it was the previous government that brought in the concept. And they're independent schools, not independent as in public school, but independent as in run by local communities and set up by local communities with state funding. And they are able to get away with a lot more because of their independence, which also includes that they can get away with starting to introduce a lot more religious concepts, because a lot of them have been set up by religious organizations. So we've got a lot more Christian schools, a lot more Muslim schools, a lot more Jewish schools set up under this system as faith schools. And it's a bit worrying to me, because they are slightly less monitored than the state schools are. So I've no idea where it's going to go in that respect.
They're still subject to standards and inspections. So I don't think they can go completely off the wall.
I agree with you with that. I don't think they can go completely off the wall, but they can introduce new lessons on different subjects that aren't taught in state schools. So it's slightly worrying. Go on.
To be honest, I don't care, so much what they're going to teach the children in those schools, as long as what they produce are children that are going to be competing on a level playing field with children from state schools.
And from the rest of society, from when they leave school. Yeah,
if they come out from those schools with a knowledge of a religious text, knowing it back to front, inside out, and upside down, with some strange form of young earth creationism, with a completely bastardized understanding of science, and the inability to do anything more advanced than simple multiplication, then I think they're going to be pulled up short.
There's an extra aspect. Yeah, there's an extra aspect to that as well. It's where they live in a community that isn't integrated with the rest of society, so they don't have any background, these kids, once they reach 18, in actually conversing with the rest of people in the country. And as a consequence, their chances of being able to compete in the job market are really limited.
But that'll become apparent. That if that happened, if it was allowed to go that far,
it's already apparent in places.
Yeah, and people are going to start reacting to that.
Yeah, I definitely agree that we would have to, that knowledge and energy is important. That's in fact, I'm going to actually change gears and introduce a new topic. Some scientists fear the potential of artificial intelligence with a supercomputer. Okay, let me just put that
Wolf.
there.
Wolf, I put in a link in the side chat, which I found quite interesting. It's on the BBC, and it's talking about the 5 previous mass extinctions or major extinctions that have happened on the Earth. And I find it really interesting that the creationists and religions and the scriptures they talk about dinosaurs, not in their scriptures, but the people talk about them and try to deal with it. But there's nothing in the scriptures about massive volcanic eruptions that that practically wiped everything out 200 odd million years ago. There's nothing about massive asteroids coming and smashing into the Earth and producing the extinction of the dinosaurs. There's absolutely nothing about it. God says in Genesis, He made the earth and all was good. And then He only ever talks about Noah's flood. Yet there are these massive things which absolutely obliterated everything, and nobody ever talks about it.
Ever. Yeah, I think to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson, if there was a designer that used this universe to make humans, it's kind of efficient at it. But you know, that's either here nor there. I will save that link. You know, thank you for mentioning that. But anyway,
well worth anybody reading it. It is interesting. Well worth anybody reading it.
I agree with you. Okay, now just go back to the whole AI supercomputer thing. Okay, the world's spookiest philosopher is Nick Bostrom, a thin, soft-spoken Swede. Of all the people worried about runaway artificial intelligence and killer robots and the possibility of a technological doomsday, Bostrom conjures the most extreme scenarios. In his mind, human extinction could be just the beginning. Bostrom's favorite apocalyptic hypothetical involves a machine that has been programmed to make paper clips. This machine keeps getting smarter and more powerful, but never develops human values. It achieves superintelligence. It begins to convert all kinds of ordinary materials into paper clips. Eventually, it decides to turn everything on Earth, including the human race, into paper clips. Then it goes interstellar. Quote: You could have a superintelligence whose only goal is to make as many paper clips as possible, and you could get this bubble of paper clips spreading through the universe. Bostrom commonly told an audience in Santa Fe, New Mexico, earlier this year. He added, maintaining his tone of understatement, "I think that would be a low-value future."
Wolfgang, one question: Is this like the first article that you have come across about artificial intelligence?
No, I mean, I've looked into it a little bit as well as seen it in the, you know, you could say in popular culture with like recent movies and stuff like this, Deus Ex Machina and all this. You know, it is an interesting concept as well as what the hell was that? I think the Avengers, Rise of Ultron and all this. But yeah, it is an interesting concept. You know, as our knowledge increases, you know, if we ever do you know, create like artificial intelligence will kill us. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, in popular movies, this kind of comes up like just go back to the first movie, Terminator, right? So this is already a theme at this point. But I think, well, this is actually an area that interests me a lot, and I have certainly switched sides several times between this is probably going to happen to the other side. This is probably never going to happen, and I can give you links to certain videos, and both sides have good arguments. And there's really prominent, well-respected philosophers, scientists. They all come from different angles of research and give their own perspective on the matter. And yeah, you can only make up your own minds about them. You can only follow your most respected scientist or philosopher that you know of so far until you have to kind of give in to the arguments of the other side as well. So this is really a topic where I am undecided still, and I'm following this topic like for years. And if I just
any other thoughts?
If I just watch over the article that you have posted, it's like a really popular scaremongering article going towards one side of the debate, but
Yeah,
not
like
not at all mentioning any arguments of the other side. That's just my opinion.
yeah. As far as artificial intelligence goes, we won't be like having like these super intelligent, very sentient like robots like not very soon. Like we'll have robots, but not like these super like these robots that can think for themselves and can make plans and shit.
Yeah, I mean you have all this theme in science fiction movies like Terminator or the Matrix. Well, there are probably many more. Well, so humanity is basically through this movie culture already aware of what would be the dystopia of such a scenario. So this just seems to be an article that is scaremongering the population, like, oh, it really isn't science fiction anymore. This is like tomorrow it will become a reality. But that's not the case actually. We are, at least in my opinion, we are very far away from it, and I'm not convinced that we can ever reach it. It might be possible, but I'm not convinced that it is possible right now. And I was at a certain time of my life, I was basically convinced that this is going to happen no matter what. I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
Fiona, your thoughts on this?
I don't have an opinion either way, to be honest. I think that anything that's going to happen there is going to be long after I'm well gone.
I'm in programming, and I agree with Fiona and Tom that the likelihood of this ever happening in even our great-grandchildren's lifetime is minuscule, even at best.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta figure the way that programming is. You know, the old adage in the programming world is GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So you only get out what you put into it. And one of the main issues with programming computers is you can only have it do what you instruct it to do. So we would have to be like super sentient to be able to create something that is sentient.
Yeah, I heard a brilliant little phrase, well, of an explanation in an article I was reading the other day, which seems to be slightly off at a tangent, but it is relevant. And it was a roundup of the events of 2015. And one of the months it said that Microsoft released Windows 10, which turned Windows 8 into Windows 7. And that really sums up how we're getting on with computers at the moment. I mean, we're not making the advances that we could. What are we using all this computing power for?
Wait, what did you say? Microsoft released Windows 10, which turned Windows 8 to 7, and what was the conclusion? I didn't quite...
No, that was it. It was that the Microsoft released Windows 10, which turned Windows 8 into Windows 7.
Yeah, I got that.
In other words, basically all the work that Microsoft had put in, and we ended up worse off than we'd been when we started.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I've just recently stumbled about certain videos about Dan Bennett, and he makes an interesting point about software and hardware. If you have a car that can go at 2,000 rounds per minute, and it can also go at 3,000 rounds per minute, it's a mechanical thing. It probably can go at 2,500 rounds per minute. There's no mechanical problem with that. That's not true for software. So in software, you have to basically you release the software, and then you have to figure out where the software fails after you have released it, because you didn't really check all the possibilities where the software will be utilized. So that's the problem. That's a big difference between software and hardware. I understand his point.
Yeah, but your hardware isn't going to run without software, and so when you're talking about these robots that are going to end up turning the entire universe into paperclips, you're looking at you're having to assume that you get the software right, and given the way things are going, just with an operating system for a laptop, and we can't get that right. And the computing power that we already do have that can do amazing things. And what are we all using it for? What are we all using all this computing power for? We're sitting in hangouts gabbing to each other. Did anybody see what happened when they decided to do one of those you can download a thing onto your laptop, and then when you're not using it, it takes little data packets and it does all the calculations and sends it back to the source. SETI uses it. You can get a SETI screensaver, and so when your computer is idle, your computer is actually processing data from the SETI program. And they started one of these citizen science things, and it was to do with determining the 3D structure of a protein. And they expected that this, trying to elucidate this would take 10 to 20 years. But they released the software that you could download onto your desktop. And so many people downloaded it, and they got through so much data that they had got the answer in 3 days. 3 days. I had downloaded it and hadn't even installed it, and they'd got the answer.
I just wanted to say I'm really impressed by. I have still to consume the ideas of that I've recently heard about. So his ideas, like there is a kind of intelligence building itself bottom up. So if you just look at this hangout, we are currently 8 people in hangout. Oh, I'm counting wrong maybe, but
eight people watching on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't care about the guys watching, but maybe they have an influence too, because they could join the hangout and give their opinion about it. Anyway, maybe I really like Tom's bunny, and also I like Christopher's picture, which I assume is hand drawn, but I don't like who's this guy, Joe, who has a really angry looking avatar, and I don't know, live slow, die. I don't care about this guy. So there is a kind of in-group dynamic already, and maybe just because I'm male and Fiona is a female, I have a preference again. There's a kind of dynamic growing out just of the seemingly random group that has joined the hangout and is communicating with each other, and it's not by design. No bigger God intelligence has designed or created the universe so that that he has decided that we would hang out in this hangout and share our knowledge. So there is a kind of, at least it's plausible for me, his idea that there is a kind of intelligence growing out of this, a bottom up intelligence is growing out of. So maybe you just say, well, this TomTom guy is just talking bullshit. So that could be the result of the hangout, right? So even if this possibility is a kind of bottom up, it would prove my point again. So if all of you say, well, we don't agree with your point, that would be then the result of the bottom-up intelligence. It would just prove the point that he's trying to make. So I think that's an interesting idea that I'm kind of trying to wrap my head around.
Actually, just new topic before the grand finale, which I want all you to be part of. Okay, DNA nanobots to treat cancer. We'll target cancer cells in the first human trial using a terminally ill patient right here. Got it in the side chat and display right now. Okay, so let's see, Professor Ido, Bachelor of Israel's Bar Ilan University confirms that while tiny robots being injected into a human body to fight disease might sound like science fiction, it is in fact very real. Cancer treatment, as we know it, is problematic with malignant cells, because it targets a very large area. Chemo and radiation therapies are setting off a bomb. They destroy cancerous cells, but in the process, they also damage the healthy ones surrounding it. This is why these therapies are sometimes harmful as the cancer itself. This is where the nanobots come in. Rather than take out every cell in the area they distribute to, they're able to recognize and interact with specific molecules. This means that new drugs don't even need to be developed. Instead, drugs that have already been proven to be effective for cancer treatment but too toxic for regular use can be used in conjunction with nanobots to control said toxicity. Nanobots are actually made from DNA, specifically a single strand of DNA folded into a desired shape. Bachelet's specifically his nanobots are designed in a clamshell shape and work as a carrier for existing cancer drugs. Think of them as like a protective box. They've been programmed to be in two states: an off position and are closed tightly so they can bypass healthy cells without causing any damage, and on position when they are exposed to cancerous cells to the drug in question. Now, it's still being tested. There's still research in it, but if it's successful, it could very well help in the fight against cancer. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. What do you guys think?
That's phenomenal. That is beyond my wildest dreams and my understanding of. I didn't even know we can get technology that advanced so soon.
My opinion is this is just like the old struggles in the medieval times. Like, okay, I have introduced a new weapon, so I have to increase my armor. So this weapon cannot penetrate my armor anymore. And then the guy who cannot penetrate the armor, he has to improve his weapon so he can penetrate the armor. It's an arms race, basically. So yeah, maybe we can make a new weapon that will kill most, if not all, but probably not all, because we are really not that smart that we can make nanobots that will kill all cancer cells. So maybe we will be able to kill cancer cells to a certain degree, and some of them will be able to survive this treatment, and this will be the cancer cells that we will still be having problems with.
I would disagree. I think humans have a limitless potential to discover the world as we know it. I'm getting a lot of feedback. There we go. Yeah, we have a limitless potential. 200 years ago, we couldn't imagine understanding the human genome and what we're exactly made of. Even less than that, we didn't even know how to split an atom. We've been able to do so much in so little time.
Yeah, I agree with you that our kind of approaches of treating the bubonic plague and there were kind of really bad approaches back in the day, not scientific at all, or at least based on a kind of flawed scientific theory that it was a punishment from God and nothing else. So yeah, we have improved, but as soon as we improve, the diseases also improve in a way. You can weep out some of them, and others will come. I think that's an eternal struggle. It will not go away. I don't think it will ever go away.
I think.
Okay, hold on. Oh, okay.
Right, go on. No, go on.
Well, I was just saying bye to Dr. Robinson, but it's fine. Chris, you got some thoughts on this?
Like all these amazing achievements that we've accomplished in the past couple years, I find this to be a good step in the right direction. So yeah, hopefully we can like find a way to eventually cure all of these diseases that are affecting people and taking their lives daily.
Well, I would like to have some nanomachines that when I eat a Big Mac or a Big King XXL, then I inject the nanomachines and I have the great feeling of eating this huge burger, and the nanomachines take away all the bad stuff for my health. So that would that would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it would be. I mean, it's still in testing, and they're still they're still running simulations and stuff like this, on patients to see how far it can go and like what more work needs to be done. But if it's perfected, it could very well lead to saving a lot of lives and stuff like this,
Yeah, I'm certain that this will save lives. I'm just also certain as well that this will not defeat cancer. Even if it reduces cancer to like a really low probability of a disease, another disease will come out of it. There will if we eliminate a niche, another niche will pop out, and another disease, bacteria, virus will try to get into this niche.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no one's suggesting that that's an actual cure, but if you can get it to be reduced, that's fine. But
I mean, that's not true at all. We got rid of the bubonic plague, and we didn't get more plague. We've got rid of several different diseases that tormented humanity, and it didn't make humanity worse. We just had a better understanding of medicine after it.
I didn't say it didn't make it worse. I didn't say it didn't make it worse.
No. Well, he said some other disease could come up in that is fair, but it's all about reducing the issue of it. Mutt, you had something to say?
Yeah, my original point is it's an arms race. So if we really succeed in making an advantage for us.
Tom. Mutt was talking. You spoke for some time. It's only he's been muted. Mutt, what were you saying?
Well, I agree with Tom to a point that there's always going to be something there, but that's all of humanity, that adversity has always bred innovation. And this is not really even a cure. From what I'm understanding of this is a smart drug. What it does is the nanobot has the chemo, it has the medication in it. But rather than being a bomb that's set off and creates a whole bunch of collateral damage within the body, destroying good cells, it goes in, clamps around, and targets only the cancerous cells, protecting the good cells from the chemicals, the chemotherapy. So this is just a treatment. It's not even a cure, because really I don't believe that there will ever be a cure for cancer, because it's not a virus, it's not a bacteria. It is our own bodies replicating badly. It's like, when you make a copy of a copy, you start to get degradation. The same thing is you get a problem within the replication of the cell, and that cell starts taking over and starts replicating out of control. That's what cancer is. It's more of just a breakdown in the replication process. So it's not really a disease or anything where you're going to treat the cancer and end up getting a super virus like you do with staph, where we've used antibiotics to the point where we are getting staph or antibiotic resistant staph.
Okay, but I think the antibiotic stuff is actually showing us a kind of trend that is possible and that we should be worried about. So if we on a certain degree, I would say yes, we need to stay in the arms race, but we should also be worried about introducing arms that maybe the other side that has to it has to evolve, and it probably will evolve. We will never get rid of all the diseases. It could evolve to a degree that they can kill us nearly, or like it could be really fatal because they evolve into a certain degree that we couldn't expect, and we can't cope against it. But they wouldn't be forced to evolve if we wouldn't force them to evolve. Yeah, that sounds really metaphysical, but I'm just trying to say
anything that can survive an environment will reproduce, and that's all really evolution is.
Yeah.
You know, so when you use an antiseptic to kill 99.9% of germs, well, you're basically creating a evolutionary environment where the strongest are surviving. So you're killing off the weakest ones and allowing the strongest to reproduce. And that's what we've produced to some degree with the what they call super staph and super bugs, where these things came from the extreme sterile environments of hospitals and medical situations where you can only kill like so much of it. So the ones that survive, they're the strongest. They reproduce. They continue to grow. Then you kill off the weak, and and just on and on and on. Without our arms race, without our innovation, it's going to happen on its own. We're speeding up the process, but without our constant innovation, there's no survival for us.
No, not necessarily. I mean, evolution unfortunately works both ways. It works for us and it also works for our enemies.
Well, I mean,
quote unquote germs. Sorry.
Okay, sure.
But it's a
this is an interesting topic, but as interesting as it is, I mean, we're getting close to the day, so we're just gonna shift up. Okay, sure. Now, last but not least, while it was a bit of a running joke, I guess it is fair to bring up, the focus of G-Man a little bit and his little answered prayer argument. So okay, so basically, yeah. So basically, when he said I remember when I first responded to the video, and I was focusing on, when he said this is his way of communicating with an immaterial world, pray for money and stuff like this, and he found like a saving the trash can or something like that, and with a prayer notebook that would be the evidence. According to his testimony, he said he found a safe in a trash can or something like that. Just according to his little story while he was staying at his sister's house, and he basically went into it with busted into it with a hammer with some of his I guess stepdad's tools. Now, just to be clear with that, now that I mean, if he wants to really believe that, that's his faith and stuff like this. But in terms of law, that basically translates to theft by finding, which occurs when someone who chances upon an object which seems abandoned takes possession of the object but fails to take steps to establish whether the object is abandoned and not merely lost or attended. In some jurisdictions, this is also called larceny by finding or stealing by finding. Now, he said when he busted into it, it was $3,000. That would constitute theft as a crime of the third degree. In New Jersey, which is the value of a property or services involved that's more than 500 but less than 75,000, and punishable by 3 to 5 years, and a fine not to exceed $15,000. So, I mean, if he did do that, he'd probably be subjected to that. Yeah, basically. But if he was lying about the whole thing, about the whole story, then that shows that he's a retard with no life and really needs to get fucked. But and a better job. But there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself.
Yeah, Wolf, I would basically agree. I and Tom, we were both together in the hangout, in some Nadia's hangout, when it was said that he would debate Nadia at a certain topic, I don't know, like a couple of weeks ago. And then I think it was Tom, the subject was brought up like, G-Man is like running away from topics, and G-Man was like, no, we can talk about any topic. I'm not going to run away.
I seen that video too. I mean, that was hilarious.
Tom,
go ahead.
It was brought up, okay, let's talk about the safe, and then he was like explaining more about the safe story. I wasn't actually aware about the safe story at this point, but then he was explaining that he found a safe in the dumpster, and he felt it was sent from God and whatever.
He said that was possible, right?
Tom.
When he was criticized, like about the whole theft thing, he was criticized. He brought in as his defense, like, okay, you atheists, can you show to me empirically that the safe and the money was not created by God directly? That was his defense.
That was funny as shit.
Tom Morrow, what's your thought on that? Like, what's your comment?
Yeah, I mean that's basically how it went down. But
you're talking to that, Tom. Go ahead.
The thing that's funny is like G-Man will do these like revisionist history things, right? He'll make these like post hoc reasons why he did things, right? And just like hang on a second.
Hello?
Yeah. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Just like he had that thing with Fiona and Alex Botten, and he made that video recently. And then at the time he was saying that they were in a relationship, but then like when he's called out on it and there's some sort of controversy out of it, he's like, oh, I was just trolling, right? Yeah, whatever.
But you atheists, you made that picture where me and Becca were hugging each other like we was gay boys. Like you realize what this do to me? You realize how insecure I am about my feelings for Becca? Y'all have no morality.
I never said that there's no starving children. I said there's no starving children. Christian children.
Yeah, that's another thing. He said that he made that statement. Then he said later that he was trolling about that. But then later on, he like defended it, as to why it was true, So it's just bullshit.
Well, I mean, my honest opinion is the whole story is made up. It's like a made up story to back.
If it's just like I gotta be honest with you, not to overtalk, but if it's just like that chocolate atheist thing, then dude, just shut the hell up. Like what the hell are you doing? You're an even bigger ass than. I mean, he would at least have some semblance of legitimacy if he was at least honest about the shit he said. But I mean, come on. I mean, that's just retarded.
Hey, Wolf.
What?
Now I'm really confused. What's the chocolate atheist thing?
It was when he lied about being an atheist for a day and to disprove the frickin' Notre Scotsman fallacy. It's retarded. I don't even want to talk about that.
I'm question on that safe thing.
Okay. Yeah. What about
something really hilarious
that you were discussing. because that varies from state to state on the found property laws. But also, he said though that he found it in a dumpster, and every single state that I'm aware of, a dumpster is considered a part of the property, and it is against in every state that I'm aware of to take anything out of somebody's dumpster. Their trash bin is still their property. Is considered breaking and entering or illegal entry if you open up somebody's garbage can or dumpster and remove any object.
Well, technically, even if you put something in a dumpster and say, well, this is no longer my property, then it becomes the property of the people or the organization that the dumpster belongs to, right?
It varies. It varies on that because if the company that does your trash service provides, at least for certain states, it provides your dumpster or your thing, then yes, then you have transferred that property to them into that dumpster. But it's still whoever is the owner of that dumpster. It is no longer trash until it hits the landfill or whatever. Because and this goes back to actual legal precedences of searching for items, the police searching items in trash cans and stuff, that they can't do that. They can't root through your trash can without a warrant because it's still your trash can. It's still your private property.
Well, okay. Anyway, I just wanted to finish my opinion on the subject. To completion, I think the whole story is made up just to prove his point that he made somewhere in the past that praying works. He was like praying for money, and suddenly God created money. I mean, consider the consequences that really God created a safe and money. Money that is accepted in the United States of America are dollar bills. They are created by humans. They are created in a bank. They are created in a factory that is printing these dollar bills. So each dollar bill has, at least that's my assumption, but that's how it works in my country. Every dollar bill has a specific serial number. There are no dollar bills with double numbers. If a bank gets a dollar bill with a specific serial number and says, well, really, this dollar bill is looking like shit, then we will make another dollar bill with the same serial number, but we will destroy the old dollar bill. So there are no bills circulating around that have the same serial number. So suddenly, if he finds $3,000 that are created by God, then God either stole $3,000 from the production facility that created these $3,000, or he made new bills that don't have any serial numbers that are known. So that will be like direct proof for God intervening in the material world, and he would just spend it and not keep it as a proof for God intervening. That's really silly. So I think the whole story is made up. It doesn't make sense. If you have proof, material proof for God intervening in the world, you wouldn't just talk about it.
I've got a twist on that. I get what you're saying there, and I've got a bit of twist on it. What if God was testing him to see if he'd do the right thing and honestly try to find who the money belonged to and return it, and he didn't, and he failed the test.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the second.
Really funny is that
G-Man's going to hell.
When he tells the story, I think he doesn't see all this stuff kind of coming down the road, but when they started to kind of get into it, his initial line of defense was that, well, this was found in a dumpster, so whoever this belonged to, they don't want it anymore because they threw it in the dumpster. So like, they didn't want this safe that was sealed and thrown in a dumpster with $3,000. They didn't want this, therefore, they were relinquishing ownership of this, which in itself, in of itself, is preposterous.
Yeah, how many of us have thrown away things on accident?
And it could have been a theft of that safe that was stolen from somebody's home or business and thrown in the dumpster in evasion of the police or with intent to come back and retrieve it later.
Yeah, and real quick, you know the ridiculous thing? He says he didn't want. Okay, if he had the safe, he didn't return to the proper authorities because they probably view him as a thief, which is retarded because if you're turning it into the proper authorities, that assumes that obviously that it doesn't belong to you and you're trying to have it sent to the right person, which is no derp. I mean, yeah, I've heard of stories where people have walked out actually find safes, so it's not or money, so it's not impossible that it occurred. But they returned it and they actually got rewarded. So it's not like it's not like this is completely improbable to happen or impossible. But it just goes to show how silly people can be. But like I said, if he is making the whole thing up, that is really retarded. What do you guys think?
I can totally see that. I can totally see it being all a sham, because then he's like, if anybody can prove that this really happened, then I'll give you $500. That's like a G-man logic. It's like, I know it's all made up in the first place, so I'm not risking anything,
Yeah, I think he's the whole story is totally made up.
Well, I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, it's all made up, but I look at it as a hypothetical, logical, maybe moral puzzle or situation, of, well, there's not enough knowledge of all the variables, okay? So you found it in there, and you think, oh, well, somebody throw it away, don't want it. Well, like I said, could have been stolen and dumped there, It could have been, like Tom said, it could have been accidentally thrown away by mistake. There's or even if you go the religious route, maybe it wasn't God just sending him this gift, but God testing his honesty and integrity, and to see if he would actually go through the process of trying to find the owner and trying to return it. I just run it as that hypothetical side, rather than it doesn't really matter whether it's real or not.
Right. That's true.
Yes, but still, God would have had to take $3,000 away from somebody else, if that's the case. I mean, except if the dollar notes are all false. But that will even if the dollar bills are all false, all right, not proven to be printed real dollar bills, that would damage some people.
Well, I
on the
mean,
road. Somebody would have to pay the price. So you couldn't excuse that as God's action.
Right. Yeah, I would agree, but I would have to say this. I think what we could say about this situation is two possibilities. At least the way I see it, based on this the story and the laws just working with it, and also with the probabilities, there are two possibilities at least. Either he did find the safe in the trash, and and he kept it for himself because he's a greedy fuck who was desperate at the time, which would either he did that, or he's making up the whole story, and he's a moronic piece of shit. But either way, I think we could say, and we could agree on this sentiment: screw you, Gary Moore, you're a freaking idiot. So get fucked, seriously.
Yeah, Gary. Agreed.
Yeah.
Brett King too.
Yeah. Brett King situation.
I've had a encounter with him a few days ago, and I left really pissed. I don't know.
Stop attacking my family. Stop attacking.
I will attack your family. I will come after them with a chainsaw.
Even though I call my own daughter a water-headed idiot.
Dorn, give me some mac and cheese, or I'll punch you in the freaking face again, bitch. I don't care what those atheist individuals say. We're gonna have another domestic situation. on our hands if you don't get my mac and cheese. I'm lying in bed here like a freaking.
I don't think making domestic jokes are safe. You should probably stop doing more of them.
I'm a beach matinee here, okay? You show me some respect.
I one time watched like 15 minutes of one of his live shows, and it was just a Christian circle jerk. I mean, they were like, each of them were sucking each other off.
They suck each other off, and with those individuals particularly have that dick sucking situation going on. And if they could just donate. If they could just donate to my Patreon, and because I'm losing my house. I can't work worth a damn.
Stop downloading my family.
Yeah, I have this condition where I can't.
I have vague health problems.
Yeah, I have this health problem. My ass is crippled. I can't leave the bed. I have to lie in bed.
Dort, turn me over. I wet myself again.
Who are you talking about? I mean, it's funny, but...
Dorn, I took a shit in the bed. I need you to clean it up. I will punch you in the
head. I assume this is a G-Man.
Oh, my God.
No, I don't think it's about G-Man.
we're dissing on Brett Keane right now. I brought him up. Sorry, he just enraged me a few days ago. Well, a couple of days ago. This asshole, gives me a Skype call out of the blue. I answer it. We talk for like 30 seconds, and mid-sentence he kicks me out.
Well, Matthew, you have totally derailed what was supposed to be a serious hangout
hold on, Matthew.
Brett Keane love.
Hold on, Matthew. If you donate enough money to my Patreon, I'll sit up and I'll tell you to your atheist face, individual face, while I'm eating a bucket of chicken in a wife beater too small for me that I care about my family. Okay, even though they're just a bunch of war-headed idiots.
Oh.
I hope to death. I hope Brett Keane chokes to death on a chicken bone or something like that.
Oh, stop!
Yeah,
didn't John Candy die from eating 4 whole chickens or something like that?
I will pop the
champagne. I
want
Brett Keane to die like that.
I thought it was cocaine overdose.
I will literally pop the champagne to that when that happens. Seriously, we'll all have a party celebrating Brett Keane's death. Yeah, but this.
I don't think that's too far.
Well, it's a joke. I mean, but who cares? It's a piece of shit.
I'm serious about it. I want Brett Keane.
Oh, stop!
I mean, we can go into the false flagging and all that stuff, but that's for another day.
G-Man wants to false flag people, by the way, for videos like this.
Yeah, he's going to false flag your video now, Wolf. He's going, and then
he said well.
Oh, you know.
I don't give a damn. I mean,
you don't see him with more fun.
I mean, no, guys. Hold on a second. He can't DMCA me because you can only use that if I use his content. I haven't used one bit of his content in this thing, so he's a retard. He doesn't know shit about that.
Yeah,
what were you saying, Matthew?
Family.
He will try and do that shit like he's apparently done in the past. And
yeah, I don't think you can just fire those shots off forever with no kind of.
G-Man might do it anyway. Then pray to God that it will succeed. And okay, we will see how this turns. It will not succeed, obviously, but it's G-Man.
Yeah.
He might still try.
Yeah, he's just going to become another Fangex.
Yeah, idiot. But anyway, Matthew, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, Brett Keane's dumbass one time forgot to disable the comments and likes on a video one time. So I made a comment and hey Brett, you forgot to disable the comments. I look back, look at it later that night, and of course he deleted my comment, disabled the comments.
We'll fuck him up. But anyway, this has been fun. I'd like to thank everyone who participated. Alright guys, this has been Proof that Gary Moore Stole a Safe / Pandemonium. Take care and have a happy New Year. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Have a good one.
Happy New Year.